Hello, sisters. My name is Laura Wolf, and today we're talking about what does soul sisterhood have to do with feministation? Now, you may have seen my earlier video about feministation. If you haven't, then you can find it on my YouTube channel. But feministation has to do with feminine energetic practices for allowing more manifestation to come into our lives, to receive more abundance and love and everything else that we're wanting to create with our lives. So, what does soul sisterhood have to do with being able to actualize more in our lives? So, it starts with the fact that all wounding that we've ever experienced in our lives is relational. It all happens through human interaction, through relationships. And pretty much all of us have experienced hurt with a woman in our lives at some point. It may have been our mothers, it may have been our biological sister, it may have been an auntie or a grandmother or a teacher or a colleague or a boss woman, but we've all been hurt or felt hurt by a woman at some time in our lives. That's just a part of the natural part of life, and that's okay. It's not that women are bad. It's just, we all end up hurting each other's feelings accidentally or on purpose sometimes in life. And if we've had more than a few of those, what happens is that we just start to shut down and protect ourselves in some way from women. We start to make decisions like women aren't safe, or women always hurt me, or it's not safe to be vulnerable with women, or this is a good one I heard. I was sitting with a group of my sisters in the park this weekend, and she said, women are so dramatic. They're so emotionally dramatic. And she started to talk about how her mother had been very dramatic, and that was intense and hard. And then there was a way that she started to pull away from or not be as close to women because they seemed really emotional and dramatic to her. So we all have some version of that, where we think women are this or women are that. And we use that to protect our hearts and to create a little distance and to not be fully vulnerable and fully share ourselves because we're scared we're just going to get hurt again. And that's completely understandable. But what happens is then there's like an anxiety that builds up in the nervous system. Another sister of mine was just talking about how she used to be so nervous about going to an event that was primarily women, or like a women's circle or something like that, because she just felt anxious about it and that she had to be perfect, and she was feeling kind of like a mess that day, then she didn't want to go. And we all just have some version of that. And when we have that in our system, that sort of anxiety or fear or just a little bit of block or resistance to half the population of the world, women are half the population of the earth. We have like a resistance to half the population of the earth. That's like a resistance to half of life. And life cannot flow fully to us when we're resisting 50% of it. And so if we want to be able to actualize more in our lives, and we are still housing some resistance to the feminine within our own systems, then it's going to be important that we do some inner work around that. And it's work that can't be done alone. It has to be done with, in order to heal the wounds between women, we have to be together to do that. And what that looks like is being with women who have enough consciousness to be able to be together in a compassionate and gentle and supportive way, so that when we lay our hearts out there, we know, or we have a sense that we're going to be honored and seen. And then there's this like amazing thing that happens, is that as we learn how to be vulnerable with women and we get received, we get seen and loved and supported. And when you start having the experience of women really seeing you and not being scared of you and meeting you and supporting you and encouraging you, there's this healing of the nervous system that happens. There's like this calm and this integration and then this blossoming that happens in women when we are well loved by other women, and when women say, like, I got you, sister, and bring it, whatever you got, bring it. I'm not scared of you. I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to be with you, and I know you're going to be with me when my stuff is up too. There's just this, like, empowerment and blossoming and softening, and like the walls come down, the resistance comes down, and then life is able to come to you and pour through you and contribute to you at least 50% more than it was when you were blocking 50% of life. But it's really exponential. It's more than that. It's just been my I think one of my deepest joys in recent years has been creating circles and fostering women in this process of healing ourselves and being together. And then there's this whole other aspect of that as we, well, I'll just back up a second first and say that whenever we're resistant to women outside of us, we're doing that to ourselves at the same time. If you're born in a woman's body and you feel fear or distrust or distance from women, then, and you're a woman, then there's some form of rejecting yourself that's going to happen too, some form of not fully trusting yourself and not trusting that it's okay to be all of you, whether that's pretty one day or messy one day or whatever it is, to like really be all of you. If you think women are dramatic or messy or mean or too much or whatever, you're going to shut yourself down. You're not going to allow yourself to fully express as a woman. And I don't want that for you. We need you. We need your full expression and your full brilliance and creativity on the planet at this time. So that's just like another reason that I love this work with women. As we heal our wounds between each other, we come more into our power. We're able to support each other more. We're able to be more present for our relationship and our children, because we're not trying to get our mate or our children to love and accept us in the way that a circle of women can. We all need to be loved and accepted and supported from multiple directions in order to really truly thrive in this crazy world that we live in. So having a circle of women makes you more resilient and more able to give to your family, because you're not so depleted and you're not needing as much from them because you're getting it from another direction. But then all of this also ultimately serves to us being able as women to co-create the new paradigm, the new world that we're wanting to create, that's characterized by love and joy and trust. I'm going to start crying now. About like non-competition, about support and co-creativity and feeding the hungry and fostering peace between nations. We cannot end war when we don't feel safe with women. The war lives inside of us. And so if we want to be change agents and vessels for co-creating the new world, and if you're listening to this, then I imagine that's probably true for you, then it's really important that we come together as women and heal the wounds of the feminine and love each other and see each other and support each other and to allow ourselves to receive that. So my blessing and my mission for you today, if you choose to accept it, is to connect with a woman in your life, whether it's a family member or a friend or a coworker. Just find some little way to connect with a woman in your life and ask a little bit about her or share a little bit about you. That's like the even more brave part, is you can share a little bit about you with some woman in your life. Then know that you are on the path to creating the new world that we all know in our hearts is possible. So thank you, sisters. So good to be with you today. Mwah.